what if like there is like you're on this stump, this overnight thing or whatever else, and like Kellyanne just goes in like this weird like yoga pose, and then like the entire time you guys were making fun of her doing like only did yoga when Kendall was there, and now she started doing it recently, and it's like all of a sudden it just the rivers just part, and you're like, oh my god, she's been waiting for this the entire time.
What up, Challenge fans? We are Final Alliance Podcast. We just finished watching episode 9 of the Challenge All-Stars Season 3 titled Cheater Cheater. Jay, before we get into it, what's this we have in front of us?
This is the bottle of CK Mondavi and Family Cabernet Sauvignon. And I think this is the same people that make Sutter Home. And then, yeah, they're...
It says it's rich and velvety.
Crappy. It is rich and crappy wine. And I got this at the Hy-Vee, and it was $5.99. And then that's not including tax and deposit. But, you know, well, then I'm not going to get into how much money I spent. And so I said last week we were going to get a bottle. And I know I did. I said I was going to get a bottle in honor of Johnny Bananas and his burgundy teeth and mouth because he was drinking wine when he talked to Wes. And I made good on that promise. So that's why we're actually a little late, because I got to stop by the Hy-Vee Liquor and Spirits. So shout out to Hy-Vee Liquor and Spirits and the Cabernet Sauvignon. I know that you have another drink there, that you're really drinking that one and not
Cheers.
this one.
Actually, this is water, so this is it.
It's cleansing your palate for this stuff. This is good. And so for those that are watching, you can watch our teeth turn burgundy by the end. So
it's fine to me. I'm not really a wine girl.
Oh, I'm not
Tastes
either,
good
so
to
it's
me.
all right, yeah. So I'm someone right now somewhere.
These wonderful wine glasses my sister-in-law got
Somebody's
us
cringing
for
about
Christmas.
this, like, I can't believe you drink that. And it's like, I can. How's that? So if you don't know me, I would drink this. So you're like, it's not in a box. That's what we should be thinking right now. So anyway.
Oh, I'm curious how long till our teeth turn purple. It'll be great.
Yep. So so Bananas did that last week, and I made good on that thing, but I never did make good on going back and seeing if Kaylee apologized or
Kellyanne.
Kellyanne. I know Kellyanne did. I'm talking about Kaylee. You said Kaylee said good luck to you.
Kayla said good luck.
Oh, Kellyanne did.
Kellyanne,
yeah.
you said didn't, but she did.
Okay.
She did.
I didn't watch it. So anyway, I did watch this week's episode. God, I wish I didn't. Okay.
You didn't like it?
Oh no! This was a great car ride with myself to come over and do this about how much I hated this episode.
Oh my gosh, that's just so crazy to me. I thought this was a fantastic start to the
I'd love
final.
to hear. Okay, I'd love to hear it though. So
well, let's get started.
Yeah.
Remember, we had the cliffhanger. Derek and Nehemiah were starting the pole wrestle, and that's where it left off. We didn't know who was going to win. So we're at I'm sorry, it wasn't pole wrestle. It was titled Light My Fire. And it seemed fairly quickly. Nehemiah gets the pole, lights his cauldron, horn from TJ.
Everybody is like turning on Derek, being like, he's breathing. That's Nehemiah. He's breathing heavy, but everyone else, like, it just doesn't look like that's. They're like, Nehemiah's just eating him up, spitting him out. Mark has now gone to the thing of being like, better be careful what you wish for. Like, hey, well, really, I mean, Wes would have given him just as good a match too. I don't know. In this situation now, Derek is, he's gonna come back or whatever else. He's obviously mad. TJ gives him a good send off. You're a stud. Be back. Nehemiah was pretty decent. I mean, they gave each other a hug at the end. They're competitors. Wes goes on another tangent about being bankrupt or whatever else. And
that's what we call a bank robbery.
There you go, bank robbery. Yeah. So
this is the night. This whole episode is Wes, and it's all Wes lines. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
So we're going to be going over a lot of things that Wes says.
And I'm fine with that because I think there's a reason for it.
Of course.
A strong reason for it. And I will get into more of it when we get through the episode, why I just can't with this show sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The women lineup, which is Kellyanne and Kayla.
Mm-hmm.
They're ready. They've got their hands on the pole. TJ says, ladies, ready. Then he pauses. And at this point, I'm like, they're not doing this. As we've been thinking this whole time, they're not doing this. They're not doing this. But TJ did a good job of taking it a little further to maybe have people think that they were going to do this elimination, this arena.
At this moment, I'm in my head like, if he really has them do this and then says, hey, by the way, I was getting like internally frustrated because not one bit did I ever think like either one of these were going home tonight, either one of these competitors. Because they just didn't add up number-wise.
Right,
we talked about it last week. So I'm like, And then dramatic pause. And then we have Kellyanne and Kayla really overdoing it about how much they really wanted to pole wrestle. To the point where I'm like, oh, this is fake. And again, go back and watch Kellyanne. How much she, like, even when they were lined up afterwards and he's like, hey, the final, even when he's like, going to start, she's like almost overly like ready to give Kayla a hug because she wants to hug somebody.
Right.
And she's like, oh, wait, I'm not supposed to like her. This is all, it's so staged and fake. Like, she was just kind of like, I really wanted to do this. And Kayla's like, TJ, you're the worst. I threw out my mouthpiece. Like, and then they're both standing there, and Kellyanne is really like, we made it here.
Right.
Like multiple times.
This is a good thing.
And she's like, I can't because I'm supposed to hate her because, the cameras are on and we've already started this charade. So we're going to continue it.
I feel like I would have like an Emmy moment. I'd be like, thank you, Mr. TJ. Thank you. Thank you. I really didn't want to do this. I so did not want to do this.
Oh, Mr. TJ. Thank you. Yeah. We need to see. And keep going about people like that because I'm going to harp on the Challenge versus All Stars a lot in this podcast.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm so intrigued because it seems like we have completely different opinions about this episode. So no elimination. TJ says, everybody come down here. You made it to the next challenge that we're playing right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mark, John A., we got your clothes. Suit up.
Yeah.
It's going down.
Did they really need to change for this?
I did think that too. Yeah. I did think that too. I was like, I feel like I could do this in jean shorts and a tank top. Like,
with the magic of editing, they're like, ring, and then all of a sudden they're wearing different clothes. I mean, oh, cool. You saw a TikTok how to make a transition. Thanks. All right. Anyway.
I feel like these producers probably are a little better than, well, who knows? Yeah. Who knows?
I did like this challenge.
I did too. Mm-hmm. It was very Big Brother-esque.
It absolutely was. 100% it was. Yep.
Wall of Fame. Uh-huh. The picture wall that they have, we've seen multiple times this season. They've touched on, but not gone too far into it. The questions are about that. So there's 24 questions about the 24 competitors having to do with what was happening in the picture. Mm-hmm. Every person for themselves. Put the name next to the person. Seems simple enough. Wes right away is like, I got this. Johnny's like, I look at this every morning when I have breakfast. Yeah. Brad's like, haven't been paying attention. Kayla, I don't know. Mark, I don't know. A lot of people just had no idea. Mm-hmm. Which I feel like at this point, and again, it is more of a Big Brother thing, but it's like, something like this has happened before where you had to remember something in the house, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't remember when.
By the way, this conversation had to come up between people. They're just not showing us it's on the editing room floor because he's like, I told you guys to pay attention. Listen, that could have been episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. I don't remember. And I'm like, okay, what would I do in this situation? How much do I look at the photos or whatever? But if he says that, there had to be conversations. Wes had to say something to Nehemiah.
Right. Of course.
They had in the treehouse, they had to say something like, have you been paying attention? He said, pay attention to the wall. Yeah, I've got this, blah, blah, blah. That's 24 answers. That's not easy to do if you don't know it. I
might be able to memorize like the order of the people, but I probably wouldn't be able to tell you what they're doing in each picture. Like there was one question that's like holding the check, and I'm like, oh, I remember that was Kendall. I saw that they showed us that in one of the episodes.
I was sitting there like, I don't know what a taquito is. So
you don't know what a taquito is?
I have no idea. So when the question's like eating a taquito, I'm like, what is a taquito?
It doesn't even look like, you can't even see the taquito in the picture. It was Cyrus. So it's like a small burrito, like real thin, like this big, and wrapped, and it usually has like a meat and a cheese.
Still don't know what a taquito is, even though you just described it. I have no idea. It's just
he was
eating something that looked like it could be
like a cylinder.
But those are the things, like and.
They're good, by the way. You should try them sometime.
Okay. I hear walking tacos are great, too. I've never had one in my life.
Yeah, what kind of Iowan are you?
I don't know. It's just weird. It's one of those things. I've never, ever broken my cherry on that. I'm not going to. I don't know what it is. It seems awkward to me. I don't know what it is. So taquito, maybe. Walking taco, no.
Just need to be seated for your tacos.
I guess so, yeah. I don't know what it is. I really don't know. And at this point, I'm like, I'm pot committed. It's something. It's part of like, hey, guess what? I've never had. Anyway.
What about scotcheroos? You've had those?
What?
Scotcheroos?
No. Well, wait, I know what those are. I'm sure back in the day I probably had one. I don't really eat a lot of sweets. I just drink a lot. So, but Scotcheroos, those are like the Rice Krispie treats.
Right, and it's like kind of like a butterscotchy, hence scotch. Scotcheroos with like chocolate on top. Oh, they're delicious. I don't think I've done that either.
Oh. But this one, I like this, okay? But
do you ope? I mean, like, what other Midwest?
I'm pretty sure I do that. Come on. I mean, like, I just mentioned Hy-Vee in this podcast. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, all right.
When you're down the aisle and you do that, I go left, you go right, and you go, oh.
You're fine.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Okay, I'll let you back in. You're okay.
All right. Midwestern as it can be. Come on. Anyway. So I like this challenge.
And
right?
it's just, all TJ says is don't come in last.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. You were saying you like this challenge.
I do like it because, like, to me, we always talk about would we like this challenge. To me, I'm like, this would definitely be, no pun intended, a challenge because did I pay attention? Was I paying attention? It's not something in my head. I didn't pay it. I don't know when he said this, whatever. He said, I told you guys, but we've done this podcast. We've done all these episodes, and I'm like, I don't remember TJ saying that, or they never once made a focus on that where I'm like, oh, the wall. Now, Big Brother, I know better.
Oh, for sure.
But also in Big Brother, you don't have anything to do but to study the wallpaper. Right. These people have other things to do. They can work. I mean, I guess you can work on Big Brother, but they can work. They can sometimes get phone calls. We saw that with Jenna and everything else. And they have, but I just think like Big Brother, you're just always constantly gaming. And it's rare that you have this, like it was on the wall. It's just, I know you said that they've had it before, but it doesn't stick out to me. That's where I was like,
I don't know. And maybe I'm getting it wrong. So let us know if they did do something like this having to do with something in the house.
But it was good. And again, I'm going to have a problem with Naya and everything going on here. And Kayla.
Okay. So Wes wins very quickly, very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Knocks down the board.
Why does he knock it down?
Because that's what you do.
Because why?
Because people could cheat. Ha ha, you're leading me into this web.
There you go.
I liked how it looked, though, because it was clearly magnetic. It was like,
it was great. Yeah.
And then Nehemiah finishes right after him. The women are taking just a little bit longer.
What does Nehemiah do after he wins?
He knocks it down with the magnets. It's beautiful.
Okay. These are all stars, right? Okay. All right. Just wondering. Okay.
Then Mark, after Nehemiah, then there's a lot of people just asking for checks. Nobody really knows. Then Mark, then finally. Well, maybe
your homework, kids. Wes to just get in there and talk about how he's smarter than everybody else, and they're just randomly just saying check. 24 names, come on. Do your homework, kids. Anyway, yeah.
John A gets first for the women, and then here's where it gets a little interesting. Mm-hmm. So Naya says she notices that Kayla is kind of standing back and looking at Naya's answer.
She was.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
Naya doesn't like it, obviously. She's like, this is cheating. This isn't fair. This is something we've seen many times on the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I do get where Naya's coming from because there's not really a way to like hide your answers while you're doing it because you have to walk away and go get different names, right? I don't know if there was a rule you can only pick one at a time because I feel like I would have just grabbed all of them. Seemed like you could only grab one at a time.
Seemed like it. I would agree with that.
Kayla finishes before Naya. Kayla makes the point that how could I have cheated on her if I finished before her? And I didn't know if her answers were right.
Because you didn't know 13, 16, 22, 24, 1, 6, and then it all worked out for you?
And that's exactly what I thought too.
Yeah.
But it was a good try.
Yeah.
It was a good try to pull that off. Killian gets third. Naya gets fourth. Naya's upset about it. Brad's fourth for the men, which is unusual for him.
Yeah, but he even said, he's like, I never paid attention to that wall.
Right.
This wasn't his challenge. He even said that.
So did you think that the last people, which would be Naya and Brad, were out at that point?
No. I just didn't know where they were going to go. I didn't know if they were going to call someone in, and I'm like, that's not fair that they call someone in. I was like, I think it's going to be, because you've mentioned so many times about stars will get you an advantage. At that point, that's when I'm like, I was using what you said in my head, and I was like, I think there's just going to be a disadvantage for getting dead last. I don't, because then you turn around and you're like, okay, well, Wes, I guess I got to call you because you won the whole thing, or, so, and like, oh, now we're doing back into another arena. So no, I wasn't too surprised, but I will say there was a percentage that something was going to happen because I was like 8 total in the finals, but 4 men, 4 females. I was like, that seems like a lot in the finals. So
Right.
But then again, someone's got to not place, I guess, if you're going to get, because they'll say later, someone says like, I've placed, but I haven't won. I think it's Kellyanne. Kellyanne says, I'm a 2-time place winner. I've never won. And, so I think there's got to be one team that doesn't, or they leave early or whatever else, because we see how that works.
I wonder if that's what's going to happen. Because I for a second, I was starting to think, oh, maybe that means they're going home. But then I remembered the preview from last week where it showed Nia and Brad running together. And I'm like, oh, so they're going to make the final.
Gotcha.
But I do wonder if the woman with the lowest points, the man with the lowest points at the end of day 1, if they're going to go home.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's going to be it, or because it's just like you're just not placing. We're done. We're cutting bait and moving on. I think that's it. I really do. But either way, I mean, yeah, because then you have I didn't get a place type of thing.
Right. Well, and in this game, it doesn't really matter because it's winner take all. So the number 1 female, the number 1 male takes $250,000 each.
Yeah, but I mean, they still probably want to say I got second or runner up.
Right.
I'm back this year for my family and because I got runner up or second runner up. So I'll get all those reasons out there again for doing things that they do.
So all later going into the final, TJ congratulates them. Yay, yay, yay. Here's the disadvantage that Nia and Brad get. You will start in the order you finish this race. So that means Wes and John A will be partners to start. They'll be first. Then 30 seconds later, Nehemiah and Kayla. I'm assuming it's another 30 seconds, but I don't know what they said. Then Mark and Kellyanne, and then Brad and Nia. Okay. Kayla and Nia have this conversation because Nia is not happy. Kayla's like, look, like, I just want to, clear the air. I didn't cheat. And Nia's like, yeah, I saw you cheating twice. I saw you looking at my stuff. I caught you twice. Kayla does then start talking really fast, which I thought was interesting. As far as the tempo of the way she was speaking. And I'm like, oh, it's a little suspicious to me. A little sus. She mentions their friendship. And Nia's like, we met 4 weeks ago. We're not friends. Which I was like, oh, that's so cold.
Yeah.
But I get it. She's upset. She's frustrated. She didn't want to finish in last place. She's a little bit in her head.
You don't do it after the fact. You say, get her off of me. Producers, whatever else. TJ, get her on her own game. You don't do it afterwards and then go, well, I think she's cheating. No, now, does it sound like she's saying it during the time? Yes, because she has an interview that's being dubbed over.
That's an excellent point.
She never says anything. She says, it bothered me. So that is the thing. You didn't finish. Kayla's got a point. How did I do it?
Right.
How? If I cheated off of you? Well, we can tell you how, but there's also, you have a point. There's gray involved here.
Mm-hmm.
Tell her to back off. TJ, I want her back off. She's in my personal space. I'm trying to do this game. Do that. And TJ would say she can do whatever she wants.
Right. And then I'd be like, all right, cool. I'm looking over here.
And we've covered this. Everybody, you guys that have listened, they have probably asked this 100 times before they even went into this challenge. Say, can we look up someone else's? And they said, yes, they can. And she still got to say, it's cheating. Now, Kayla's apology is insincere. Because like you said, it's fast. If you watch it when she gets done, when Nia walks up, she smiles I don't give 2 Fs about this. I just tried to talk
Kayla
my way. Kayla, yeah. She walks away. She's like, I'm done and I'm mad and we met you 4 weeks ago. Because she says, I value our friendship. I met you 4 weeks ago. We don't have a friendship.
Right.
And so as she gets up and leaves, Kayla just smiles. She's just like, I tried to make myself look good. She knows what she did and everything. And that's the thing. There's nothing really to it. Own it. I did. It's okay that you did.
It's the game.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, absolutely, I did. I don't know what else to tell you. What did you, I don't know, bury it in the sand. Do an order in the sand, then put it up slowly by yourself. Do something different if you didn't like it.
Right.
Sure, I did. Yeah, I didn't know this many numbers or this many questions, and you gave me a little bit that I needed. And it happened, and from there, my memory started, going better, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember seeing the wall. Don't blame her, and own it. Both of you, own it. And this is what I'm going to get to a lot of this podcast. These personalities all suck.
Oh, wow.
And that's really what I don't like about this episode in the finals or whatever else. The answer to the question of everything is like, why do they have to go out and find people from Are You the One or Big Brother, whatever else? Because those people are making new content every time. These people from 2005, before Facebook, before people were putting themselves out there, before they were making themselves into these their own brand. These people all suck. I'm sorry, they do. There's a reason why I don't remember their names. It's not because I'm like, oh, I'm 46 and I'm old and I move on to the next one. Like there's nothing to it, and that's why Banana's good. Wes, I tell you, I want to say bad things about him, and I guess I can, but he's on the Mount Rushmore because he can play the game. But I want to know every step along the way when you're sandbagging it. He's now said it twice. Once when he said, I'll wink at the camera, and then he says, I'm tired of sandbagging. Well, guess what? Nehemiah already beat you to it. Nehemiah said, I'm sandbagging it. So which one's doing it? You can't all sandbag it and win this thing.
Right.
I want to know from the jump. Here's what I'm going to do. Bring that personality to the show.
When they tell us that.
Yeah,
I do like when they tell us that.
There. Other than that, there's nothing to any of these people.
I mean, I don't know that I feel as strongly as you.
Yeah.
I do get what you mean, and this conversation leads nowhere.
Yeah, it does. This is all for show. What she's upset about, I have no idea. Why Kaylee just doesn't own it is beyond me.
Mm-hmm.
It's good television. Out there, people, I'm telling you, listen to Johnny, listen to Wes, listen to anybody, listen to Devin. They know, they're like, we've said it, use a producer's brain. What's going to make good television? How am I going to get more camera time? That's it. Not like, oh, I really value our friendship. I met you 4 weeks ago. Yeah, but I do.
Well, and there's a couple layers with this. So somebody had posted something about this argument, and Naya did comment today. She's like, yeah. And then when she smirked, that really ticked me off. And I knew that she was like absolutely lying. And she's lucky that she wasn't up in my face or something like that.
Get out of here. She had stepped away from the conversation when the smirk came. She didn't see it till she saw the episode.
Yeah. But then allegedly, night one, Naya's in the pool, and Treehouse members asked her to like quietly join their alliance. Mm-hmm. And she's like, let me think about it. Got back to him the next day, and she was like, yes. So she's been quietly working with them this whole time, from what she said.
Show us that.
I know.
Show us that. Then Kaylee can say like, but we were working together. Mm-hmm. That's my friendship. When I say I value our friendship, and you can say, you can take a step back. If that is a sincere apology, you can say, you're right, 4 weeks. I value the working relationship we've had in this game, mm-hmm. and I'm sorry if I feel like I crossed you. But tell us that.
Yes.
Be like, I from day one, I know we had that secret alliance, but tell us. That's the storytelling that we're missing out of this. And it's so
I think that does make a good point.
I guess I shouldn't say these people, their personalities all suck. The storytelling needs to be there. There's got to be something to it. And those are the little things that you're like, oh, they don't know it. That puts you,
the viewer,
in there and be like, they don't know that they're working together. Mm-hmm. You know, we all loved it when Wes and Bananas were like, hey, we're going to work together.
Oh, it was so good. And they did like a dual
and we felt like we're like
interview.
Oh, they didn't know what was going on.
So good.
So like those are the things, like do the storytelling of this whole thing. It's still entertainment television. Listen, it's the fifth major sport, no doubt about it. These are all athletes. They're all competitors.
For sure.
I love them. But there's still a storytelling to it. And then maybe that's the reason why you're on Paramount Plus and not on MTV. Why you haven't cracked 23 and a half hours or 23 hours of ridiculousness to put this on MTV, and then they just have the challenge. Because you know you're going to throw in nostalgia, and people are going to follow it.
Of course.
But it takes now me to sit there and say, like, no. These guys, I mean, they were great in 2005. They were great at whatever else. They were something different then. But now in 2022, you're like, okay. I mean, honestly.
Well, and it's difficult. There's a kind of a line between the old school and the new school. In the old school, I mean like all stars. And the new school, I mean like who we're seeing on 38, 37. Because it seems like, and it's been very widely speculated and even I think sometimes proven that a lot of those Big Brother people, allegedly, you know, people like, you know, Josh and Fessy, and then, you know, friends of them like Tori and Devin, are faking storylines.
Okay.
And then it comes off insincere, and then the viewer just doesn't like it because it's like, well, this is really phony. So there needs to be some sort of a balance between the two. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, because I actually thought about this quite a bit, and I'm like, because I thought about when I say like I forget their names or whatever, and why do I remember their names? Why do I remember Devin, Efesia, Josh, Wes, anyone else? And that's because they know best when they go in there that they're going after Bananas and CT because they're going to make good television with them.
Of course.
That's why I know their names.
Mm-hmm.
Only because they went after him, not in a way of like, I'm knocking off the big dog. They just kept pushing and poking the bear, knowing that they're going to get it back in more camera time. And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't doubt if Bananas and CT were like, hey, you should probably do it. Keep coming. We're going to get more time if you
right.
you get after it. So that's the thing. It's again, like you said, is that insincere? Maybe. But you know what? At the reunion, it seems sincere. And then if they do it afterwards on Instagram, where they're all back together, I don't care if they all go out have pizza later and they're like, "Hey, we put it away." But they're still laying it down on the reunion majority of the time.
True.
Another one. I don't know. I wouldn't know Nelly from anything if it wasn't that he wasn't against him. And then now I keep going down. If it wasn't that
his really good interviews.
Yeah, listen, he gets a lot of hands. But
I want Nelly to win this next one.
So
or place.
It really is like, is it insincere? What of it? Maybe, but I don't think Big Brother's insincere. I just think they kind of know how to. Maybe they know how to make good television too, because that's all they had to do. They have nothing going on in that situation. But I don't know. I just it's
a good question and a good point.
Yeah, it is beyond frustrating to me that these people keep coming back, and I'm like, what are they bringing to the table? What does Kellyanne bring? What does Mark bring? What is
lay off my Kellyanne? She is delightful.
Is she delightful? I love
think
that word,
so.
by the way. I just don't think she's delightful.
She's so delightful.
I didn't even care when Derek lost. That's the thing. I was more worried like the episode before. I'm like, maybe I do care. And then today I was like, I don't really care. They left. I'm like, it's all right. There's just like there's so much of this blowing up their egos about who they are and what they mean to this stuff. It drives me nuts. Like I listened to Derek when he was his podcast and he had on the president of Bunham Murray or whatever else, and she basically is telling him, "You invented podcasting." And I'm like, "No, he didn't." She's like, "Oh," and she went on. If you listen to it, the first 20 minutes are just you're like, "You got to be kidding me." They're just stroking each other about how great she is for running it and how great. And you're like, Derek has been on top of this from day one. He has always wanted to talk about it. I'm like, okay, you wanted to talk about it.
Well, he has had probably the longest running person on the challenge podcast. Which is great.
He didn't. But he didn't
invent podcasting.
Yeah, but they make it sound like he was they were sitting there and he's talking to producers. And he's like, "Hey, I just want to talk about this. I want to make money off of it." And I mean, great, it's a job. But again, like these things are so inflated. They believe this stuff, and it's just like you're on Paramount Plus. Like my friend Sarah only has it because you and this podcast, the podcast that we are currently on. Mm-hmm. She's not watching CBS like local television or Criminal Minds on loop.
I did do Real World New Orleans.
You did, yeah. Well, still, again.
Also caught some Daria. Remember Daria?
I remember Daria. Yeah.
Charlie watched the Beavis and Butthead movie, so it's not only for this.
Oh, did they streamline on that?
Oh yeah, and then the South Park stuff.
And they hit now, and you can watch Sonic 2, a Hedgehog on there too.
Oh
if you
yeah,
want to, which is
Clifford the Big Red Dog, real cute.
That. No,
so
anyway.
Cute.
I got you off track. I'm sorry, but I continue to do it like these.
God, I'm just gonna fire you up again. Yeah. So we've been friends for how many ever years? I think does wine fire you up? Is that what's happening?
No, I was fired up from this episode. I was like, this is terrible, and this is and it got me back to like when I tell you like there's a lot of past challenges that when Bananas was off, I'm like I'm out.
Yeah.
Or CT, I'm like if Bananas was on, CT was on, I'm like I'm out. There's good television, and there's just people that don't. Devin's a new breed. Wes, you're there. You're a great competitor. You're there. Get your storytelling better. Get better in your interviews. Make sure that you're doing it. Let me know from the beginning that you were sandbagging, and it would have been completely different. I would be 1,000% behind Wes right now.
Maybe he did, because he's the type of person I feel like potentially did tell them what he was doing, but they just didn't air it.
Well, then that's not his fault. That's terrible. Then they should sit there and be like, we did a bad job on storytelling, just like they do a bad job on titling these episodes.
Right. Cheater.
Yeah. Boring. Nah, that's not the yeah.
Nia and John A talking. You know, Nia's just kind of blowing off some steam. Johnny's being super supportive. And then Nia's like, you know what? I'm just going to use this as fuel. I'm not going to be the old me. I'm going to let it go, essentially. Yeah. Kellyanne is massaging Mark. Did they add in the cracking sound?
They had to have. Come on.
Right?
Like,
I don't.
It was really odd. Like,
because I get sore through there too. Sure. You know, everybody does.
Yeah.
But it doesn't pop.
No. I don't know. And then they got the two dudes off to the side watching this whole thing. Poor Kellyanne's going to sue the All-Stars for carpal tunnel after dealing with this. So
bless her heart.
Yeah, he's just like, you would think she's like, she does not look like she's into it at all.
No, like, she's like looking up at the ceiling.
Yeah. But
She's a nice person. That's a nice thing to do.
Then
for
we
your
get
friend.
one more time. He gets to tell us how old he is. Mark does and everything, and so good job. He's 50.
I think he's like 52 now. I think
50?
He said 50, but I think now he's 52.
Oh.
I think he just had his 52nd
He just likes to throw in
birthday.
the 50. It's just the 50. And I'm in my 50s. He's like that Saturday Night Live character. I'm 50.
I don't know that
I
one.
kick and I stretch and I'm 50. He just reminds everybody. You've never seen that character? All right. It's a good one.
This beautiful moment the next morning between Wes and Kellyanne. They dated a decade ago.
I didn't know this.
They dated on the Ruins, I guess. Which
Okay.
the Ruins, that's the season that like everything went to crap. I don't think it's even streaming because of all the stuff.
Gotcha.
You
okay.
know, which
Yeah.
awful. He's married. They've moved. She's engaged. And he just kind of says, like, I'm really proud of us, that now 10 years later, we have this opportunity to, kind of end the book on us together on a high note.
Mm-hmm.
He said he also does make sure to say, like, even though you annoy me.
Yeah, I like that. I enjoyed that.
It was really nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
The internet's been saying stuff like, well, now they show those two talking. But we do kind of see moments that I think they just chose not to air. Because like last week when John A. and Kayla were kind of gossiping and talking about Kellyanne, you see Kellyanne and Wes talking off to the side. And then there was a previously on the challenge where Wes had like things under his eyes, like those little like, for the bags under your eyes.
Yeah.
And Kellyanne was right there like laughing. So it's like, I feel like they have been more than civil, friendly with each other. Obviously, there's no lines that have been crossed. They've just been friendly with each other. But they haven't shown us that, and that sucks. So it was nice to see that pretty moment.
It did not get me going at all. I didn't get fired up at that. I was like, yeah, good for them. I didn't know
that.
Yeah,
it was just sweet and nice.
I think you can win this. Where his rah-rah stuff. But it was good. I liked it.
John A. gets a phone from her husband. Nothing really much to say about that.
Do you miss me? No. That's some playful banter. You miss me? No.
She said he looked really good.
You look good.
Thanks for taking care of the kids.
Yeah.
Kayla's packing up her bag. Stop it. The two of you.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, Kayla. Yeah, she's got a fiance or whatever.
She wants to prove that she deserves to be an all-star.
But you say back in the day she used to get feisty or whatever else, and now she doesn't. I'm like, no, you're just not true. I'd rather you get feisty, but yeah.
She killed it in the interview looks this episode. Did you see that kind of like a leopard crop
I did
top?
see that, yeah.
Good look.
Ooh, by the way, I have no idea why you're usually right on top with the music. I have no idea why Belle Biv DeVoe Doomy came on when they were doing the names. Sorry to go back, but I was like, first off, I am a big Belle Biv DeVoe fan. There's no doubt about that. And so I was like, and I was like, what? Why is Doomy on right now? Like, I know, the time was 6 o'clock on the Swatch Watch. No time to chill. Got a date. Can't be late. The girl's going to do me. I was like, doesn't make sense. But anyway, sorry.
And that was when they were doing the
the names. Yeah.
That's really funny. A lot of the songs this episode I didn't particularly know.
Yeah.
But I kind of suspected you would know.
Yeah.
They were just kind of on the brink of not me, but you.
Where this is like 1990, 91 when this comes out. So, yeah, it was an odd choice. But, all right, sure.
Got Nia and Nehemiah talking. They're working out. One thing I took from this conversation is Nehemiah is lifting weights in slides. They're dumbbells, but I'm like, dangerous.
Oh, yes. Veronica just broke her toe, dude.
We're days from the final. What are you
Absolutely,
doing?
you're correct, though. I can't believe I didn't put that. Yeah, because you're dead on. Like, what are you doing? You're just putting yourself.
Just get a little. It's hot out there. You're outside-ish, I think, and it's Panama. in the fall, humid, just a little bit of extra, on your hands. Come on.
I would not. The pizza comes out of the oven, pizza cutter. I'd be like, yeah, I'm not cutting anything. I'm not doing it. I would be in bubble
Someone gives
wrap.
you a letter, you're like, nope, I don't want paper cut.
I would be in bubble wrap. Staph infection's coming if I open that. Yeah. So I'm with you there. Yeah.
Their friendship, like I said, is nice. Naya says she's a fourth quarter performer in life and in this, and cool. We have not all the women, Naya, Kellyanne, Jonna, Kayla, they're toasting with wine. I'm going to cry. If you cry, then I'll cry. Mm-hmm. Wes walks in his unders. Do you want to cry with us? And he's like, what?
Yeah. He's like, absolutely not. Yeah. No.
He's like, what are these people doing? He's like, 4 days before the final. Like, before I think the final is going to be, I am preparing myself. I am, carbo loading. I am, making sure I'm getting enough electrolytes. He's sitting there just like chewing a piece of bread when they're
yeah, it's not like they're gonna have another season. It's not like it's the end of it. There'll be a reunion and everything else. Like, calm down about like, oh, if you start crying, I'm gonna start crying. We're never gonna see each other again. Just sign the yearbook, stay cool, have fun in the sun, get laid in the shade. See you next year. Blah blah blah. You're gonna see him next time.
I think it's great though. I mean, we all know Sarah's emotional. Mm-hmm. I probably would have been like, this is really beautiful, ladies. Like, look what we did.
We're here. We
did this.
Like, and then so this is like again, we're crossing the shows. So do you like that Big Brother episode, like the one before the finale, the one I can't stand, that they walk around the house and be like, do you remember day 3? When we were all sitting around talking about, see, but that's what I feel like. That's what they're doing when they're like, look at everyone that was here. Here, there's 24 people. TJ just reminded us,
that
and now we're
so
here.
Forced. This doesn't feel as forced.
Okay.
Again, Wes makes a comment. Then
this wine is delightful, by the way.
It's actually not bad.
That's when I use delightful a lot.
Some $5 cab, all good in the hood.
Sure.
I'm gonna need a loaf of bread here in a minute. Carbo load. People drinking, partying, the women all go skinny dipping, whatever. Then we go to final day. Mm-hmm. They're flying on a small plane to San Jose Island. It's just off of Panama City. It's what Wes says he thinks. John A. pulled a me and had to go potty on the plane.
Yeah. Good call, yeah.
They play Let It Rock. Wes says it's super early, already really humid, already sweating, sun's not even out yet. Like, it's going to be hot.
Mm-hmm.
Then our man TJ arrives on an ATV. He's so went for it. He even was like kind of bowing. He had his hands the way he has his hands. Mm-hmm. And he was even kind of bowing.
He was, yeah.
He was like, I just wait all year for this.
Yeah,
my final.
Really excited. Yeah.
Oh, it was so great. He tells us the rules. Well, prior to that, he says, Naya, this is your redemption final. Brad, you've been here a whole bunch. John A., you've been to every final of All-Stars. Everybody claps.
And I'm TJ, and I have to tell everyone this because you guys don't tell anyone anything because we haven't told a story. So TJ is going to come in and save the day again, or this episode. I'm right on this, by the way.
You're so right.
Yeah. There's no reason that he has to say this. By the way, they've told us every single confessional, I haven't won, or I'm doing this for my family. And TJ still has to do it because no one is paying attention to these people and their story. No one cares.
I do have something to say off subject about TJ.
Okay.
So he is filming season 38. I think they're in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
He posts on his Instagram every day. He goes he walks past this certain area and he says hello to this golden retriever and pets it every single day.
Sure. Okay.
It's okay, it's not the highlight of my day.
But it's it makes you feel good.
So cute. Him and this golden retriever every day.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
So
that's what one of the things we're finding out now. One of the things TJ does when he is on location for a challenge, when he doesn't have to goes
gets a coffee and finds a random animal to hang out with every day. And he's like, hey, you to the owner, and the owner's like, no, I live 20 miles away. He's like, well, you have to be here every day at 9:15 in the morning because I now have an Instagram series going. He's like, okay, Mr. TJ.
It's cute. It's so cute. He pets every day. Every day. Great. I love TJ and the dog.
Love golden retrievers.
Right? They're so good. TJ tells us of the rules of the game. So it's a race. obviously. You will be paired up with someone of the opposite sex to a checkpoint. Then once you get to a checkpoint, then you're on your own and you will face off with someone of the same sex.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is point based. So if you're first to the checkpoint, you get 4 points. Second, 3 points. Third, 2 points. And fourth, get 1 point.
Okay.
Then if you win your, head to head, whatever the check is, then you get 5 points. Your opponent gets 0.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, for the love of God, we hear what the stars do.
Yes. Finally.
Only the woman and man with the most stars this applies to. They just get 5 extra stars. So they start ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad at that.
No, it didn't take away too much from the actual final. And no really should it when you get to that. So yeah, it's fine. But it also led to, there's your storytelling, the drama. But we don't know what these stars are. We don't know what these stars are. They made it a big deal. And Wes says, like, that's how you, was it bankrupt or whatever else, or you bank, whatever he said. You took all the stars when Nehemiah did.
Bank robbery.
Bank robbery. So, yeah, it's important because it led a little bit to the story that they were getting to.
I did get very excited for Nehemiah in the situation. I was like, because he's kind of, whatever he said about I purposely, didn't win, whatever. He has been kind of an underdog.
Mm-hmm.
So he won at the appropriate time, and he is paying off right now paying off at the appropriate time. I was happy for him to get those 5 points.
Sure.
As much as I like him, I don't think that that's going to mean anything in regards to if he's going to win or not. Now with John A,
that's so hard. Yeah.
Now with John A, I was like, that's going to solidify it. That's what I thought at that point.
Yeah.
Because she's already going to be the first person going. She's teamed up with Wes, and she starts with a 5-point lead, and she's killer at puzzles. At that point, I'm like, all right, she's winning. So they start, and they hit us with, this is how we do it. I got so excited.
Jordan's always good.
I got so excited for that one. You got to run down, essentially, you're parallel to the landing strip, whatever, to get a key. Then you go to you unlock your planks or whatever.
Yeah.
You build your raft out to your buoy, paddle back. Mark makes a funny joke. He's like, I'm not meant for running. I'm like a Mack truck. I get 8 miles to the gallon. These guys are like mopeds.
Yeah, and I'm 50. In case you guys forgot. So, he's 51? Okay, wow.
He's 51 now? Okay, he's 51. My bad. I apologize for saying 52.
Anyway, yeah, he's going to remind you of that. I'm not like these other guys who are 48. I'm 50. So...
First people to the check, no surprise, Wes and John A. Then they have to wait to see who they're going to go against. And I didn't write exactly who everybody went against, but the things I took away from this was Nehemiah had a very weird paddle strategy.
Okay.
You see how he, because it's only on one side, the oar and then the handle.
Yeah.
And Wes is like, I don't even know what he's doing.
Well, and the weird thing about it is even TJ said when they were talking about it, he's like, this has been challenging. Kayaking's been challenging in the past. And they showed past, challenges or finals or whatever else. Mm-hmm. And then Nehemiah still has a problem with it, No,
he didn't. He, was the first one.
Oh, I know. But I'm like, you're saying, the weird thing. When you say it's weird, I mean, it's fine. But it's, just weird how it, he's telling him, focus or whatever else. But, yeah, I mean, it worked out in his end. But I don't understand. I don't know. I've never really had a problem kayaking in my life. I don't know what it is.
I've kayaked once, and it was on my wedding day.
Shout out to... Nature Boy Bill Collette, I guess, for teaching me how to kayak at Camp Iwalu in Strawberry Point, Iowa.
Well, hey.
Yeah. Well, hey. I just totally stole your wedding day kayak story.
It's really not a big deal. We got married on the beach, so, you get married and then do whatever you want. So kayak.
You're like, we're going to kayak. All right. Okay, the wedding planner's like, hey, you could do, what do you mean other things? Let's say this is a PG show. I understand.
No, I didn't mean like that. We stand on the beach,
I gotcha. The wedding planner's like, well, you can go kayaking or you can do this. You're like, no, that's you had me at kayaking after we got married. We're good. Thank you.
Immediately, I was in my dress.
Oh, so the whole entire trip.
That same day. Gotcha. Okay. We are just getting really off topic.
It's just delightful wine. Yeah.
The CKY.
Yeah.
CKY. Yeah. The people who get it are Nehemiah, Naya, Kayla, Wes. They all get 5 points. Kellyanne cracked me up so hard. She's like, I'll just wait to get rescued. I give 0 Fs right now because I'm just going to save my energy.
Okay. Yeah.
Go to the second check or whatever that is. They hit us with Jessica Simpson's version of Boots Are Made for Walking.
I didn't know that
from,
Jessica Simpson did.
It was from the
Dukes of Hazzard
Dukes
movie.
of Hazzard movie. The second heat, so they got to go on a tandem bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
Brad's quads are super tight. Kellyanne's his partner. She's like, how can I help you? I thought that was really nice.
Yeah.
She massaged his quads. They're able to complete it. Wes says he's with Kayla. It feels like a really gruesome date. Mark and Johnny's bike chain is broken.
Okay. Yeah.
Played Joyride by Roxette.
Mm-hmm.
Next checkpoint, there's a star sequence of 4 rows of 9 stars. And you have to, look at your wall, run to the answer key, figure out what's wrong. And then each row has something that's wrong. And then that's going to mean what your code is, your 4-digit code.
What was it like? What 3805 or something like that? It
was different for each person.
Okay, I remember Brad's was like something like that, and he was very frustrated at one point. Yeah,
Naya makes a good point. She says the bottom are what's different, like the bottom point of the star,
and they show it. They highlight
where they were. Yeah. I would have been terrible at this one.
I would have been awful at it too.
Wes gets it super quickly. TJ's like, "That was sick."
Wes says, like, I know, because I played soccer and I'm a swimmer. Right,
no.
TJ?
God, back to the soccer and swimming. Says that genius stuff. That's not a rumor. These are just cold, hard facts. As the kids say, 100.
Mm-hmm. That's the second reference to kids when he said, do your homework, kids. But yeah, good for him. I mean, he's owning it and, get after it a little bit.
Oh, and it was cute if you look in the background of that. TJ's kind of like looking at him with his little eyebrow raised, like kind of smirking, like, oh, here he goes.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm going to let him.
I feel like he enjoys it.
He does. Moments. He's like, I'm going to let Wes be Wes here. And, and so he knows, and he knows that it's going to be good for television and everything else.
For sure. People that win that check are Wes, Brad, John A, and Naya. We got our next one, and this is where the episode ends. So the pairings at this point for our next check, they have to go to a tandem kayak. Those partners are Nehemiah and Kayla, Brad and John A, Mark and Kellyanne, Naya and Wes. And they, race to those tandem kayaks. Brad's massage of his quads is apparently good because he is just taking off. Because he needs to make up time at this point. Because he is not at the bottom, but I think he's second from the bottom. Mark is at the bottom at this point.
Yeah.
Now, John A is his partner, which would be good, but John A doesn't need to win this right now because she just got the last one. She had a 5-point lead. I mean, she's not killing everyone or every episode or every checkpoint, but she has enough of a cushion that she doesn't have to be the first one there. And as much as I love Brad, I know what he was trying to do, but I wish he would have been a little more encouraging of John A and like stayed with his partner at that point instead of just taking off.
Yes, no, absolutely.
And that's why I think that's why she was the very last person at that point.
Yeah.
Because she's like,
and still, there's certain things you have to, it's a give and take here in this situation. And you have to get to the final and to win the whole thing. And obviously, TJ has said like work with your partners here and there. And it's like you said, you like him a lot. I don't mind Brad. I don't. And I just, I want better out of that situation.
And then I also wonder, like Kellyanne keeps saying that she's saving her energy. And I just wonder, I get it. I do get it because you don't know what's coming. But do you want to have a regret? We've talked about regret before, that you didn't give it your all. And then it ends and you're like, oopsie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you because there's two things here. Then what I've been saying since we started this, storytelling. So if it works out for her, she let us know the entire time.
Right.
If not, you know what it is? It falls flat, and you go to the reunion, and she goes, I really thought I was going to, but I didn't. And like you said, oopsie, can I come back next season? Like, who wants to watch that?
Right.
It's like, it's just, if it works out, it's great.
I hope really badly that she can overcome this because I really do like her. I started the season calling her mid-level, remember? And I've really grown to like her, and it's probably about the dogs, But I find her to be very entertaining. She's a good competitor, and I would like to see her come back.
Right now, ranking them who I'm cheering for. In order.
Okay.
Jonna, Kellyanne.
Jonna, Kellyanne.
Kayla, then Nia.
Okay.
In order I'm rooting for. In order that I'm rooting for the men, Wes, Brad, Nehemiah, Mark.
My men is exactly the same as yours.
Okay.
I would say Jonna, Kellyanne. No, I'm sorry. I'm switching it. Kellyanne, Jonna,
okay.
Kayla, Nia. And nothing against Nia. It's just you have to put somebody at the bottom.
Kellyanne thing, well, I'm fine with putting her in the bottom because I didn't like this episode. I didn't like her. I thought she lost the episode. But the thing about Kellyanne, if that comes true, what she's saying, like I'm saying something good for her. But the Jonna thing, winning without MJ is going to be huge.
Yes.
I mean, she walks into that reunion the queen, honestly.
Yes.
Like, it is like, that is all her. That will overshadow any male victory here if she does it without MJ. Do you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And unfortunately,
completely.
that's a bad thing that people have been like, oh, MJ, you had a partner, but she kind of like walked in and she's like, I did this with MJ, and she was upset when he left, and that's fine to be upset, but it will
She's
definitely
killed this game.
Yeah,
She's been a front runner.
Definitely overshadow any other victory whatsoever if she does it. And Kellyanne too, because now she's got a little story, but not as much.
Mm-hmm.
That her, Wes, or Nehemiah, or Brad, or Mark will be very equal. Jonna winning this will be like it will be the
awesome.
story. It will be the story
and
of
it
this.
would put her on the pedestal of being like, wow, you are a female competitor to be reckoned with.
Absolutely.
And seeing like her growth through the years. I remember when she was partnered up with Zach and he just belittled her.
Yeah.
And it was just so gross and hard to watch. And to see her, how many ever years later she's,
But that was Battle of
married.
the Exes, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
But
yeah.
she's, grown and married and children and, has a new life and, developed confidence. And, to see her just really believe in herself and really do well in this has been beautiful.
I agree. And this will be the one thing where, as much as I've taken my time to like water down about All-Stars and everything else, she'll have her argument. I don't think it makes it there, but she'll have her argument to say, like, I think I deserve to be on the Mount Rushmore. She'll have the argument if she pulls this off. And the argument,
I think she would be the only female back-to-back.
Okay. And I'm just saying, and that's what the argument's there, and no one would ever just shoot it down. They'd say, oh, okay, let me think about this a little bit. And
right.
I think she has it. So again, I'm cheering for her, but I've been very vocal. I don't care for Kellyanne's personality. I think it's fake. But if this story works out where she's like, I'm saving my energy, don't look at the camera. And they'd be like, no. If she's saving herself and it all pulls out, good for her. She told a story. I love it. Again, back to that Wes, Brad, Nehemiah, Mark. Wes, I just would have loved to hear the story from day one.
Correct.
That's all.
So scores as of right now are Jonna 15, Nia 13, Kayla 12, Kellyanne 5. For the men, Wes 18, Nehemiah 15, Brad 9, Mark 3. So we'll see. The preview has it. There's an overnight challenge, so that'll be interesting. There's some gross food, and it looks like there's like a scale or something, like some sort of a weighting situation. Something where you have to carry heavy bags, which that's been done a million times, and then some sort of a like King of the Hill on a platform where you're against somebody, you got to push them off the platform.
Yeah. What if like there is like you're on this stump, this overnight thing or whatever else, and like Kellyanne just goes in like this weird like yoga pose, like that, and then like the entire time you guys were making fun of her doing like only did yoga when Kendall was there, and now she started doing it recently, and it's like all of a sudden like it just the river's just part, and you're like, oh my god, she's been waiting for this the entire time. She's way behind though. You just went down the list of the numbers that they're at. She is way behind on all this though, and. As far as eating goes, I can't remember the past, Kayla. I don't think Naya is going to be good at eating anything. I don't think Jenny
I think
cares.
Naya actually could be good at eating. I feel like she has in the past.
I don't think Kellyanne cares very much about what they're eating or whatever else, and nor do I think any of the guys care what they're eating. So it could be interesting.
I'm curious for that. I hate to watch them throw up, but I do like how it's an equalizer.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I would listen. I'd throw up. I'd stick my finger down my throat.
Oh my god, I can think of bad food and like throw up.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just be like, hey, you know what? It's probably not going to settle well in my stomach anyway later, so might as well get it over with and just clear from where at, and that'd be fine.
Yeah, you just got to do it. The one last
Billy
season,
Bob and what Varsity Blues,
Puke and Rally.
There you go. See,
but he calls it Puke and Rally in Varsity Blues. Okay, well, watch the movie.
Mhm.
Tiny bit of tea. Did you see the preview for CT's movie, The Most Dangerous Game?
I saw someone sent me this a while ago. Someone else did. Just the movie poster. Like, is this for real? And I'm like, I it better be because I'm in. Whatever else. No, I did not see the preview.
So it just was released a couple days ago. The movie will come out on August 5th, and it's going to be like in theaters and then also on streaming, which is not uncommon.
On Paramount Plus.
Does not look like it's going to be an Oscar contender.
What? Who are you to say such things?
Tom Berenger looks just the same. It's great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, looks like
Taylor?
looks like he's gonna just,
Jake's in there?
Yeah.
Ah. Hell of a situation.
Casper Van Dyne is one. Judd Nelson is in it as well. He is very thin, and he's like some sort of like a professor or something.
I saw the movie poster. I don't know why I didn't watch the rest of this. So let me get it straight. The guy from the movie about alien bugs, Casper,
right.
Yeah.
Starship Troopers.
Sure. He's in it. And I'm pretty sure at some point he did something on Melrose Place. I don't know.
I think so.
He looks like he should be on there.
Absolutely.
Jake Taylor from Major League's in it.
Yep.
Okay. And then you said
there's a woman I don't know.
Okay.
And then CT.
And CT.
And Judd Nelson.
And Judd Nelson, yeah, from Breakfast Club. Good. Okay.
So it looks. Did you read this book in school?
What book?
It's a book.
What are you talking about?
So it was in a textbook when I was in school, and it was like a condensed version of it. It was when we were talking about like man versus himself, man versus man, like different storylines, different ways stories are told. And their plane goes down on an island. They get to this island, and the person who owns the island or whatever wants to hunt them.
No, I did not read this book. No, what? Why did you read this?
It was in school. It was in my 9th grade freaking language arts class. It was a condensed version. It was like a short story version of it.
Okay. No. Anyway, all right.
I liked it.
All right.
But I will.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait till you give me the recap of this movie, and you're like, "Oh, the book's better." They always ruin it.
It does. There are parts where they're like running through the woods, and it's him and the female, and it does kind of just look like he's like helping like his partner through the like final.
We gotta find your 9th grade English teacher and ask what they think about this.
Mrs. Etchison. I played softball with her daughter Beth.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got to figure that out. I can't believe it's based on a book. Okay, all right. He's gonna be.
But yeah, I'm so happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
I'll check it out absolutely. Then there was the first 3 minutes of Challenge USA was posted on social media.
Okay.
Pretty much all we see is TJ talking to all the people, kind of sort of going over the rules of the game. All we know is, he talks about his final.
Yeah.
There's a big cash prize. I don't remember what they said the cash prize was. But also if you win, then you get to play in the international, against all the other winners because they're doing, War of the Worlds. Yeah. You start with $1,000 in your bank. You have to have $5,000 to make the final. Mm-hmm. You get money or whatever by either winning a challenge or winning an elimination. Okay. And he has a nice pea coat on.
All right.
And that's what we know.
That's what we know. And this is going to be July 6th.
Correct. The day of the final, which is, or the day of the finale of this.
Big Brother launch is 90 minutes. Challenge 90 minutes. We got the final hour. I'm going to be in Nashville. We got to figure out a way to zoom in to do all this stuff. I will not be drinking wine, but I'll be somewhere along the way. Oh, wait. By the way, if we are talking about this, we'll be in Nashville. 4:30, 7:30 game. It'll be a late one that we do that night.
Okay.
I'll have to go back to the hotel or the Airbnb, and I'll be all fired up, ready to go.
Oh, I can't wait.
Watch all this stuff, though. How are we going to do this?
I don't know. We haven't talked. We should probably talk about it
maybe
that.
We should not. Maybe not on the podcast yet.
We're gonna try.
Anyway,
What I love so much about our podcast is that we're next to each other. There's so many people that do it virtually, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I love that we're able to be next to each other.
Absolutely.
We're not able to next week, so we're gonna have to try it. So if you do a podcast and you do it virtually, if you could give us some tips, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Klinger's smart enough or whatever else. But really, in back to these people, the listeners, this is truly our conversations, and it's been this way since our entire friendship, and that's what makes this so much fun. Is that, that we get to do it and laugh and talk about this stuff. But what would you rename the episode? I don't know. I don't like cheater. Like honestly,
Wes.
That's how
because
bad
it was all
is.
Wes.
Yeah, it's all Wes. But that's how bad it is. Like the moment I saw the title, and majority of the time you've said it, and I'm like, that was the title. I saw it, and I'm like, that's a bad title. I just knew it was. I'm like, this is a bad title. And it came up. What was it? Legitimately 3.5 minutes about this? Like
maybe.
And it's cheater.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you took out of this. Like that wasn't it. It really didn't make that big of a deal. That's not.
No.
That's not a title. All about Wes.
Wes.
Forgot about Wes.
His wife calls him Gingy Bear, which he hates, so we can title it Gingy Bear.
Why would she do that? Yeah. But
so Wes won the episode for sure. I mean, it was a heavy edit in his favor. He also killed it.
Yeah.
Lost.
I'm saying it's Naya.
You think it's Naya?
She just didn't come off. This whole I'm a fourth quarter or whatever else. Then prove it.
She did do pretty well. She won a couple checkpoints.
But this is another thing where it's like, oh, she said that the week before when she was like, when she didn't do the thing, and she said, call me out, because she goes, I wish the person that I'm ready to go to the arena is the same person that would have done the challenge.
Right.
I'm tired of it. This is who I am. You haven't shown it yet, and hopefully she does here, but I just don't get it. Again, going back to the personalities, she doesn't do anything for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like,
I think I'm proud of her for. I do think she's grown as a person since. I think it was Battle of Exodus 2 when she was completely awful.
Yeah, and they said this had
that bad moment.
But they all do. They all have. But there is a certain thing when you have that the camera or you're in the thing and you're in a place. It doesn't matter if you're on the beach or the island. I think that's the one that Bananas probably was the worst. The island, and he's talked about that multiple times. Like I wish I could have done things differently, but and he's using a little bit as an excuse, but. They all grow. People can make mistakes.
Sure.
And when you have a camera around you all the time and when you get used to it, you got used to it. You don't realize that the cameras are rolling. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to say things. If you want to go through, if that's what you want to do with your time and go through every episode on Paramount Plus, and they do not sponsor us, and this is the 5th time I brought up Paramount Plus, then that's what you want to do and you want to find and say, this person said this, that's on you. People can grow and just say,
of course.
That wasn't it.
I would hope.
Yeah, that's not the way I am now when I'm 51 years old. This is what I said when I was 22. And yeah, but you said it. Okay. Yeah,
right.
I apologize. Jesus. I just happen to be lucky enough that when I was in high school and college, we didn't have social media. I probably would have said a lot of dumb things. I still do. I do. Sometimes I'm like, But there's also a lot of things that I'm like this, these people are idiots, and then and I'm like, erase. I'm not gonna write that.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
I might give it to Mark for losing the episode.
I'm fine with that.
Just because he's
50.
51.
Yeah.
Just because I'm so happy he made it to the final, but he just keeps kind of coming in short.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
Cringeworthy moments.
Fake apology by Kayla.
Yeah, I think I will co-sign that.
Yeah, I was just like, I value our friendship, and then smile like, no, wasn't there.
What would Bananas do? I think we've already established that he would have created more of a storyline.
Yes, I think he would have definitely done that. Yeah, um, there's no doubt about that. I don't know what you get too much into it, like as far as personalities to create a divide. Because he likes to find that what he'll say to the listener on his podcast, he's like, I will grab the cameraman and be like, these two people are talking, and there's going to be a fight.
Like,
get there
come here.
now. And then he'll be the one that's fanning the flames.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's anything really there. He would have made that Kayla and Nia thing a lot worse than what it was. And I
think you're right.
And he would have been like, no, Kayla, you told me that you definitely were cheating, and why are you lying to her face? And Nia, you were a lot more upset about this than how you're coming off right now. You should really like Kayla. Like he would little things like that. But he's just doing it that way. I don't know much more if there's more drama to get through other than that. So
it's all. I will agree with you. Like going back to that Nia Kayla thing from the beginning of the episode. It is almost like we need like a Bananas or someone that's quote unquote doing too much or being extra, as the kids say, to help that conversation. Because it just kind of fell flat.
Yeah, and
it could have been better.
She
could have also admitted to it.
The people that have made their names off of going directly against Bananas, Corey, Nellie, Devin, Wes, and not even Wes and do it now. They know CT. They've learned from that.
Mm-hmm.
CT did his own thing. He's more the quiet assassin. We've already established that. He will just say like, such and such may have said this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the one that said it. And then they say it, and they're like, yeah, I said it. And then but look at everything. Nellie, Corey, Devin. They've learned from going against him. Josh, even Fessy.
Mm-hmm.
They've learned from going against a Bananas or a CT that they know like, well, it's actually kind of better if I just do it this way, and then I step away from the background. Corey's with the pizza, with that scene.
Right.
Josh, but it doesn't matter. Different episode, different season. But yes, Bananas would have found something to make it a little bit more enjoyable.
Yes. What else you got for me?
I don't know.
Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Not who you want. Who is winning?
I think Wes is going to win.
I agree. Something crazy has to happen at this point, which I don't want him to get hurt or anything. But something crazy would have to happen at this point for him to lose. He is on fire.
The women one is tough.
It's so tough.
They're so
close. 15, 13, 12 points.
And that's what makes me feel like for some reason Kellyanne's going to pull this off. I don't know why. If there was like gambling odds for this, I would definitely pull the long shot and bet on Kellyanne. She's at right now probably like a plus 750 or plus 1200 or whatever else. That's what I look at. I don't.
In the preview, Johnny and Kayla were like hugging each other and crying. Is that happy tears or is that sad tears?
I don't know. I just don't see Nia and Kaylee winning this. I don't.
You always say Kaylee.
Kayla. Kyla. I've said it this 9 episodes. I've said it wrong every single podcast. It's a tough one. I do think Wes is winning this one. That
for
one,
sure, hands down. I'll go with Johnny.
I want to as well, but
I'd love to see it.
Unfortunately, as much as, like I said already, as much trash I've talked about Kellyanne, I feel like I'd want to see it too. I'd already told you, Johnny wins this, she's going to go in queen that reunion, and it's all going to be about her. That reunion should all be about her. And I would love that.
If they do it.
I would love that. Yeah, who knows they do that. But I do feel like there's a Kellyanne situation here. So I'm going 85% Jenny, 15% Kellyanne. I can't go 100% all in. I am 100% all in on West, though.
Yes, same.
Yeah. But we have one more episode. It should be fun.
Is that all you got?
Yeah, do you have something more?
No, I
okay.
don't.
Yeah.
Are teeth purple?
I think so. No, yours are fine. Mine.
You're fine, too.
Oh,
we picked the wrong one, the CK.
Oh, looks like we got to do it all over again. Box of wine next time. Yeah. Probably.
All right. Well, follow us on Twitter, Final Alliance 1, on Instagram. We are Final Alliance on YouTube. We are Final Alliance Podcast and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. We are Final Alliance Podcast.
Yep. Let's get TJ Lavin to host Saturday Night Live.
Okay. Well, we're still on that. TJ for Saturday Night Live.
I love it. Yeah, we're going to do that. All right. Thanks for listening.
Cheers.
Cheers. Delightful.